Welcome to MySale app tutorial. Today we will discuss about how to do a purchase entry in MySale app. Click on to purchase. You can see the purchase number on top left corner of this page, which gets generated automatically. Purchase number will get incremented automatically by 1 plus 1. Next is purchase date, which is also generated automatically. Below that you can see the currency, which is mentioned in USD. If you want to edit the date, we can click on to the more info and change the date. Select the date from the calendar. I am changing the date to 10. Next is very important field, that is series. We can create different series and set purchase number under that. For each purchase we have to enter in the separate bill book. That is, we are maintaining 3 bill books for the purchase entry manually. If you take an example, if you are dealing with the 3 different companies product like Onida, Samsung, LG, we are entering the details of each company in 3 separate bill book. Now I am changing the series, selecting from the drop down. I have already created the 3 series: local purchase, import purchase and wholesale purchase. Now I am selecting local purchase. You can see the purchase number has been changed to LP4-23. Next is invoice name is optional. Next is employee, default is highlighted. We can select employee name who is doing the purchase entry. This is not mandatory field. If we are doing employee wise purchase entry, then only this field is important. So select employee from the drop down. I am selecting John. Next is currency. It is according to the currency mentioned in the purchase. Here by default USD is set, which we have done during the company creation. Or there is another option, that is when we are selecting the vendor, if we have set any currency, same thing will be reflected. Or if you want to change the currency, you can select from the drop down. Next is credit period. Credit period is set. I am setting to 30 days. If the purchase is under the credit and how many days we need to do a payment to the supplier is mentioned as a credit period. I have mentioned this 30, and the due date you can see it is changed. Next is purchase account. Purchase account, by default it is purchase is selected. If we have created any account under the purchase, then only this option is needed. Otherwise you can leave as it is. Then click save. Next we have to select the product according to the purchase bill number. And if you want to add or create a new product, you can click on to the add button and you can do it. Next, from which vendor we are purchasing the product. If there is any pending amount is needed to be settled, it will show as a closing balance above. You can see that it is mentioned in red color as a closing balance above, if it is debit, credit or anything. Next is invoice number. Invoice number is a number provided on the sales bill. I am providing the invoice number as IN-1/23, and invoice date is also what is mentioned in the sales bill. According to that we have to put the invoice date. I am changing the date to 12. Next is phone number. Phone number, we can provide the phone number as per the sales bill, that is usually a vendor number. Suppose if you have sent a purchase order to the vendor, we have to provide the purchase order date here. Purchase order date you can provide here, as well as the purchase order number also. Next is location, to where I am expecting to get purchase product to come in, that is to get delivered. It is for the main store or warehouse. Now I am selecting the warehouse. Next is narration. If there is any narration, you can mention it here. Next we have to select the product to be given in the bill. So I have to click the add items. So here we can select the product, and if there is any quantity, you can mention the quantity. If there is any free quantity also, you can mention it. Base unit, by default it is given as number. Then if we can update the price according to the bill received. So I'm updating the price to 700, and we can select whether it is a tax excluded or tax included from the drop down. I'm selecting tax excluded. Next, if there is any specification, we can mention it by clicking to add specification. Next is serial number. If there is any serial number, we can update it by clicking on to the add serial number. Suppose if you have 5 product, we will provide 5 serial number according to the number of the product we have purchased. If there is any batch number, we can provide in the batch details. If there is any expiry date, manufacturing date, model number, we can mention it here. Then click save and back. If there is any other product in the bill, we can mention it again by clicking on to the add item. Now I am adding one more item, LG refrigerator. Quantity I am mentioning it as 5. Then free quantity I am leaving as it is, and rate is also I am leaving as it is. Then click save and back. Next, if there is any additional income or expense, you can mention it by clicking onto this add button. Next is payment mode, in which mode the bill came. It can be credit or cash, anything. You can select it from the payment mode drop down. If it is multiple payment mode, you can click on to the multiple payment mode and click add. If the bill is about 10 lakhs, the first payment mode we can provide it as cash, and the second payment mode we can provide it as a credit. Now I am changing it to multiple mode. I am changed and provided credit. Now click save. Purchase saved successfully. If you click onto the purchase report, you can view the purchase report. You can see the purchase report here, that you will get all the bill here. This is how you can do the purchase entry and view the report in MySale app. Thank you for watching.